So Joe, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about your type. Do you know, can you tell us when you started getting into typology?
Yes, about 5 months ago, I
Oh,
was walking through the door of my house and looked at my phone, and I got a notification saying, "Are you the unicorn type, INFJ?" And I said, "No, surely not." And then I watched the video, and I was like, maybe. And then I went and took a test, and it said, "You're ENFJ." So no, I'm not. So I went back and changed one of my answers and made it INFJ.
all
And
right.
and then from there, I was just curious because I knew I had manipulated it. So I went in deeper, and I ended up seeing a bunch of MBTI that I didn't respect. It was like a shallow MBTI videos on YouTube that I just didn't care, I didn't see the authority in their voices or something like that. And then I found Megan Lavoda and C.S. Joseph, and I dove into C.S. Joseph and studied him for 2 months, enough to understand his system pretty thoroughly.
Mhm.
And then I started practicing typing, and of course, failing miserably at typing people along with him
Based
because he
on
does.
his system.
Yeah, in his system, and he does live typing, right? So he'll type
Yeah.
like 10 people in a video, and I'm typing right along with him and getting everything wrong, and just the way that
Wrong.
he,
Yeah.
yeah. So then, right about that time, I did a lot of Discord chatting because I was blasting a lot of the stuff that I was learning and going this blah 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 blah, talking to these people, trying to talk it out and learn. And one of the guys in there had noticed, hey, you drank the CS Joseph Kool-Aid, and you shouldn't do that. You should go. You should go listen to some other people like Megan Lavoda, who I had already discovered, and Dario Nardi. And he didn't actually mention Dave, but I ended up just finding Dave on that specific venture,
Right.
and Dave struck me as the authority, and I like having an authority
Uh-huh.
on the
Interesting.
topic of typing on people's types. And I was just looking at his YouTube, regular YouTube. I convinced my wife that we should go through the paywall and start taking the classes, and went into there.
Oh, your wife is in there with you too?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Kind
we talk about it, but her, this isn't in her area, I suppose. And so
of interest.
I think she might be watching me live right now.
Oh, cool.
But
Hi, Joe's
hi,
wife.
babe. So it was, she actually did start with me. We started working on just getting the human needs and spotting people and figuring out what the human needs were for that person and that person. And I just went way down the rabbit hole way faster than she did, and just consumed all the everything. And I finally finished the last Q&A video like a month ago, and or even more recent than that. But I just basically dove into the system and just left CF Joseph behind. But because of that, when you started talking about, it's not CS Joseph's thing. I can't remember whose thing it is, but your system with the. I apologize. I'm blanking entirely right now.
No, it's okay.
The like the SJs, the SPs, the NTs, and the
Like
NF.
Kersey?
Yeah, Kersey stuff.
Okay.
And all the different. You
Interaction
know it.
styles?
I'm sorry.
The interaction styles?
Yeah. Interaction style stuff. Like that was
Uh-huh.
my original induction, and so whenever you
Right.
did your Q&A on it, I was very into that. I was a little upset with you.
Okay.
They didn't go into it, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I mean, I don't really expect them to.
Right. They got their own
They're
thing
not
going on.
going to. They're
Yeah.
on their own path, and we keep
Yeah.
trying to say,
I
"Hey,
thought
check
it,
this path out," and they're
yeah.
like, "No, not going to
Well, I
happen."
thought it could be a good cross-check interaction
Yeah,
styles if it
I think it
works, if it's
might
valid.
still. I
Yeah.
think it might still be. I was fascinated with it because you're right. If you can figure out the jumpers with the interaction styles, we're golden. Like that's
Yeah.
going to be huge. If it's true, nobody's gone in and objectively worked that system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, well, unless Kersey did, I don't know that he did or didn't.
Would not with jumpers, no. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that would be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right away I'm seeing probably masculine SE, right?
Masculine SE. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my
You
stuff
do
here.
have kind of you do kind of have like the I don't want to be rude, but like the EP head, like the big EP head.
Oh yeah.
But but I'm getting that you're probably more of an IJ, which is
Oh,
weird.
awesome. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's funny. My beard actually gives me an extra inch, right?
Okay. Yeah,
I trimmed
I don't know.
my mustache this morning, but I didn't trim my beard. I don't know. That's funny.
Right, but like you're giving off a lot of I'm not seeing the swings on the SENI axis. I'm not seeing the big swings, but I'm seeing like your authority is coming from the details and you're really
Okay.
solid on them. And
Yeah.
then like your the feminine explanation is from the NI.
Okay. So we've
Yeah.
got the axis, but not sure where it is, and we know the ones.
Yeah,
S
yeah,
is
not
masculine.
quite sure where it is, but you sort of gave it away, I guess. Yeah.
Ah. I gave. What did I give you? I gave you FFI, and I didn't tell you where it was.
Right. Okay, so then that's a masculine TE then too. Okay.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. So
Right.
I apologize for that. I didn't mean to do
No,
that.
no, it's okay. But like even though that's what you were typed as, I still like to sort of confirm it through the
Yeah,
interviews.
of course,
So,
of
right,
course.
yeah,
Please, by all means.
yeah.
I like I've when I do watch your videos, I just your TI is so strong, and I just
Okay,
I don't know. I think I'm just bouncing off your TI a lot right now, and
I see. Yeah.
I,
Well, I feel like I'm like really weakening it for the interviews and stuff, and it's funny that
yeah.
you say it's strong. Yeah.
But you threw out IJ, so you want me to confirm things, deny things? What do
Well,
you?
we'll see. I think like I think you've been typed as an IJ. Like I think that it looks like that's what you would have been typed as, like from the way
Okay.
you reacted to the when I said throughout IJ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
just my reaction. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
okay.
But like, so tell me a little bit about your feminine NI then. Are you responsible for the patterns? Is that something that?
Am I responsible for patterns? Okay. Um, I'm the way I experience my NI. I don't know that it. I don't. I don't really know how to define my NI. So along the
We get that a
J
lot,
track
yeah.
or any track, my NI, the way I experience it is simply I'll find something that I just fall in love with, and I have to deep dive on it, and I have to wrap my head around it and have get like this worldview of how this thing works. And to me, that's a mix of the T and the N. Like
Hmm.
I don't really know where the boundary is, but that's really just all I know about my NI. It's just I have these different worldview, different all of my hobbies. I have a ton of hobbies,
Okay.
a ton of. I mean, I can go. I've had them up pulled up just for you in case you needed them, but there's like 15 things there, and each one in my head is like this little world that I can step into and just be there, and just sort of look around that little world, and I can try to improve it or just relax in it or whatever. Like I can go into my juggling world and work on maybe I should try this new trick um, or I don't know, get motivated to improve on that particular world. The biggest one has got to be piano because that's my lip. It's what I do for a living is teach. And so I actually do continuing education with Dr. Rosalie, and I haven't really been able to type her except that she has a lot of swings about the government. But
Hmm.
it's
It's EP.
she, well, one of the two, she's anyway. I don't really know, but she's teaching me. She's several levels above me in the piano world, and I feel like I learned so much from her. So I'm just constantly growing that NI world in my head. That's just how I experience it. I don't know that that's accurate on what
Right.
it is.
Do you
Yeah,
do you feel like you're organizing ideas, organizing
yeah,
concepts?
yeah, yeah. I'm
You're trying to
organizing
narrow
the
them
world.
down?
Each world is getting organized as I'm working on it. Like it's clear for me in the piano because I'll go in to her class and I'll drive the class because I know what I've got confusion over here that needs to be cleaned up. Like this isn't making sense. This chaos over here needs to be taken care of, and I'll hit on it until until she clears it up for me.
Uh-huh.
I'll force her to help me organize. But yeah, that's how it goes.
So you got you're double masculine then, I guess?
I am.
Yeah.
That's very nice because
But
I
like,
make her drive the class my way.
right, yeah, but you are coming off as very like way more feminine than a double masculine sort of, I guess, should be. And I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
that's because of that NI. When you're dealing with concepts, you come off as feminine NI.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got the feminine NI and the feminine FI, which is my internal world. So as far as I'm concerned, I was double feminine. In fact, I typed myself double feminine. My guess was FFNITI.
Oh wow.
And the double feminine was just plain as day to me. Why wouldn't I be double feminine? That's like just the way I am, but it's just my internal world. And I've been exploring that because ever since I've been typed, I've been asking people, how do you see me? Like, what is this double masculine thing? And they're all like, yeah, double masculine. I'm like, okay.
We got a couple questions here. Is there a concept that all those interests can fit under?
Is there a concept that all the interests can fit under? My answer to that question in the past has been that they are all puzzles. Whenever when I first started this whole path of all the different worlds that I was diving into, the first one was piano, to my recollection. Actually, I have them all written down. No, I lied. The first one was chess and sign language and then piano. But anyway, piano, I was I was in church watching this guy on stage play piano, and he was hitting 10 keys at a time and making good noises. And whenever my sister and I made 10 keys at one time, it would be a terrible noise. And I couldn't understand how that was working. So, and I apologize. I did go into this on Kendrick's video, but it was just this thing where I couldn't understand how he could make these good sounds. And I didn't really care about the sounds. I cared about the puzzle. So I went up to him and asked him. He gave me some pieces of paper, which had the circle of fifths on it and some contrary motion stuff on it and some chord work, list of all the chords. And it was just, that was my first real deep dive into music. And it was all about the puzzle. How do you make good sounds? How do you make bad sounds?
So when you said you couldn't understand, you feel responsible to understand?
I just needed to understand. I don't know that it would be responsible. But I don't want to say no. I don't want to say that I didn't, because I'd have to think about that. Did I feel responsible for understanding? I guess I'd have to say I did. There was nobody was making me do it. I just needed to understand how this was working. But it was the need. I mean, see, this is where the N and the T get confused for me. Like that, like whenever I explain it according to what I'm seeing, what I've been told, and what I'm trying to resolve in my head, that would be the NI that I would be responsible for. The NI of how it worked. But it sounds like the T to me. So I don't know. It's very weird.
It would you would be using your TE to get that understing, maybe.
Right. But it goes, but then it goes into all of my other worlds, right? So especially things like origami, StarCraft, Taekwondo, Rubik's Cube, how to write a book, playing the flute, the chess I've already mentioned. I'm specifically going for things that I saw as a puzzle. Like I'm skipping a few that were not exactly a puzzle.
Weird. So that's very NE. That's very NE, the way that you go and have all these interests.
I have it written down. I have it SI written down.
SI written down.
I'm not jumping across my spectrum of ideas. This is me into all of the. Okay, and actually, this is something that, like, piano is 26 years of my life. StarCraft was 13 years of my life. Sign language was half of my life. Like, Wheel of Time was 7 years. Like, these are, I have it all here.
But why did you do that? Do you feel responsible to do that as well, or? This
is a thing where I'm 39 now. This is the thing where I know if I don't write a thing down, it's gone. Like my brain is an empty sink. If I have knowledge that I want to survive, I must write it down or it's gone. And I just lost too many things, and I just learned that I had to write things down. Grocery lists are the big part of that, because you get to the grocery store and you buy things, and you come home and you're like, there are 8 things that I didn't buy that I really needed, and they just weren't in my head when I was at the grocery store, you know? So like the SE just falls out.
Right.
Or the SI, you know, but we've said it's SE.
Yeah.
The sensory just falls apart. It's masculine, sure, but when I need it, it's not there. So yeah, they're written down because I knew I'd be talking about them. So what I'm saying is, yes, it looks any because I have this list of 20 different things, but each one of these things I sat in for years of my life and just developed,
Right.
fully focused on that one thing and just continually organizing that idea. So it's not really any. This is my any, yeah, because I have all these worlds now, and
Right. Yeah.
I can pull from all of them at will, and I can make connections, but it takes willpower. Like I would. Oh God,
Yeah.
sorry about that. I
That's no worries.
turned off my my phone, but then the alarm still comes through. Anyway, so it's yeah, it is kind of neat. But and there, talking with famous people has those tests for polars, and
Right.
find those endlessly fascinating. And one of he has an NE test, and I didn't have any problem taking
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It was like a middle level function for me. So
Yeah.
whatever that is.
It are they are they for you, are the concepts and the what you've sorry, there's a kid crying at my door.
Yeah, I have two kids here too. One's taking a nap, and one's in the back promising to be quiet. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Are the concepts that you're narrowing down, are they valuable to you? Is it something that you wouldn't just toss around, or like you would get maybe offended if someone were to just sort of not respect it?
Um, I do occasionally get mad if I'm explaining one of them to someone. Like if I've are they important to me? Yes. Like I would never have spent years of my life on anything that I didn't care about. Like I found this thing and it became important to me and I had to go down that path. So it was one of those would be Rubik's Cube that I knew from the time I was like 8. One day I'm going to learn the Rubik's Cube. I'm going to. And it was years later. I think I didn't learn until I was like 30 something.
Okay.
But I knew I was going to, and I never doubted it. And whenever I attacked it, it was this thing that I have to do, and I did it. Same thing with a couple of pieces of music. They're just out there, and I know they're out there, and that one day I have to conquer them. There were several. Like there was I don't know that I apologize. I'm indirectly answering your question, but let me just this one explanation. I had Beethoven's Third Concerto with piano concerto. I had in college decided that it was too difficult for me at the moment, but I still knew I was going to do it later. So I went ahead and got the piece, put it in my library for the day that I would conquer it, and then like 10 years later, I went and learned it.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
it's
That's very planning for the future as well. Yeah.
yeah, which is weird because if you talk to my wife, this is the fun part of our relationship. I make zero plans. To really clarify this, I went through high school knowing, yes, I'm going to go to college. I wanted to be a computer scientist, but I wasn't married to the idea. I always knew that I had to continue with piano. That was a thing that had to
Mhm.
happen. But I just sort of went day to day. And whenever I graduated high school, I wasn't looking at colleges. I wasn't planning for scholarships. I wasn't doing anything that needed to be done. My mom up and picked my college, filled out my application, drove me to college, dropped me off, and left. Just boom, I'm in college now. Like I was not responsible for making that thing that I knew I wanted to happen. I wasn't responsible for making it, for doing the SE, I suppose. So
Hmm.
she did that, but I continued to do that day to day, and it's something that I didn't even know I was doing until pretty recently. A couple of years ago, probably, I noticed that it was happening because I'm doing it to my wife. Hey, we need to do these things, but I don't actually do any of the work to make them happen. And it gets to that day, and I haven't done anything. It's too late. We're not doing that thing. So it
Uh-huh.
just doesn't happen if someone else doesn't do the prep work. So I plan in the sense that I want to do this thing in the future, but I don't make any of the details.
Uh-huh.
The
Is
SI
that a
is
low sleep
not
then?
there. Sorry.
Is that a low sleep?
Nope.
No.
No. I'm sleeping with that NI all day,
So that
all day.
like so then what are you talking about, the steps to make it happen? Like is that
I'm just not doing the steps or
like you
considering
have
that.
steps that you should be doing that you're not
Yeah.
doing, or you're just
Uh,
not planning it enough?
so like if I want us to go to the movies and see Frozen, which we did, let's say I want us to go see Frozen with the kids, and
Right.
I'll express that I want to go see Frozen, but then I will immediately retreat into OPS world, go watch videos. I'll be watching you and Kendrick or the Nine Show, whatever. I might get distracted on something else. I look up and Frozen is over. Like we just didn't go. I just sort of was in my head the whole time and didn't look up in time to make that plan actually happen.
I see. Yeah, that could be yeah, that could be yeah. Either low play, high sleep, like really, or it could just be NE, just consuming something else.
Yeah, any could be.
Yeah, it could just be consuming something else. We have a few points here. If this is something that I also agreed with, like there's always a planner. Someone has to take the role of the planner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I guess if she's SI, then you're gonna look like she's the planner out of the two.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Someone's got to take the role.
Yeah, so I have her typed as FESI. As far as just my personal beliefs, I am not. I'm probably about 80% convinced on that type. And have her, what is that, blast play, and I can't decide on her last. I have a hard time with her because she displays a lot of demons that conflict with each other, so I haven't been able to resolve them.
Okay.
But
and
anyway.
Then we have another point here. NI plans in a different way, especially if it's feminine. It's the least organized OI.
Yep.
Tell me about the possibilities in the moment. Are you aware of the possibilities in the moment?
I'm not paying attention to the moment. I'm in my head. Like, to me, someone asked me a similar question the other day, and I was really looking at it, trying to see exactly what I'm doing in my head, and it seems timeless. Like, if I have to pick one, the moment is probably the most beneficial of the three. But my SI past is, like I said, if I didn't write it down, it's gone. Like, I didn't record it, there is no past. My future, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out this puzzle thing over here. I'm doing whatever that TN thing is in my head, even though I do know I want certain things in the future. I want a daughter. I want to walk her down the aisle. I want to see certain movies. I want to play certain songs. And I know that those are going to all happen if I can possibly make them happen. The present gets the most benefit because if I do kick my own ass and open my eyes, I'm looking at what's immediately in front of me. I'm doing the SC. I'm folding laundry. I'm doing dishes. I'm doing what's in my immediate presence. But I'm only there when I make myself be there. And I would say that I'm mostly in the present, but not really ever. It feels like a timeless sort of brain.
What about your body? Are you aware that you have a body? Are you aware?
This one's fun. I like this one a lot because it goes back into C.S. Joseph land for me. Because if SI 8th is this extreme lack of awareness and despising of the awareness of the body. Like I don't want to be aware of my body. So like if I mean bodily things, but like if I have to pee, I don't know about it until the last second. Like it's too late. I've got to be now. I don't know about these things. I can't tell if I'm hungry until I'm starving. I can't tell if something hurts unless it really hurts, or if it's like drawing my attention right away, or if it's just happened in the moment and like the pain is sharp. So like if I'm working out, I'm noticing that I can feel that stress, and I'm having to work really hard to make myself keep going through the pain. But it's awareness of body seems to be low, but at the same time, that kinesthetic comes through. So I really like Taekwondo. I like UFC, but with Taekwondo, the kicks, being able to do the kicks is one of the prides of my life, and just the feel of throwing that and being aware of what your actual body position is supposed to be. I suck at it. I'm like a blue or green belt from 10 years ago, but it's a point of fulfillment in me whenever I actually go spar with somebody. Like I met Leon the other day and we were sparring out in the driveway, and it felt really good. Like I really enjoy engaging with my body.
So they put you as blast play sleep?
Me? Whatever.
Yeah.
God damn it. Do you want the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's actually sleep blast play.
Sleep. Oh, okay. So they put you as FI savior.
Yeah, it's all the locking on, like me locking on to Beethoven's Third for no goddamn reason. I do it all day, every day, and I know my priorities. I would have to say that one would be hard for me to discount at this stage. Like I've looked at that from many sides, and I can't deny that one. I'm all about what I want. I'm all about my personal priorities, and that's just how I make my decisions in life. But I definitely worked that TE, so that was really hard for them too. They saw the Dave saw the TE first. Shan saw the FI, like first of everything. Like the very first thing they saw, Dave saw TE and Shan saw FI. And then Dave immediately noticed that the TE was slave to FI, but he saw the TE first.
It was slave to FI. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like you were saying, it's exactly what you were describing, like the whole time. It's that you want something, you knew you wanted it, you knew it would happen. So it's that FI, and the TE comes later.
Yeah, with a little bit of NI thrown in there.
Yeah.
The SE just gets bitch slapped all over the place, but whenever I need it, I can use it, and I enjoy it. Like the Taekwondo style stuff, I enjoy that. SE.
So what matters to you then? What's important to you?
So many things, but at the same time, when you ask me for examples, that's like an SI thing. So you talk about what's his name again? Talking with famous people. That's his SI test. Is give me a list of examples, right? I have examples in your past, and I have SI8, right? So it's when you hit me on the head with it, I have to really stop and think. But I have them listed in front of me. Like these are all the things that mattered enough for me to go dive into them. I can give you the list, but if you're asking me from spontaneity in my head, it'll be a little bit more stuttery. Do you want me to give it to you that way?
No, I'm just wondering if are you aware of what's important? Is that something that you're constantly trying to think of?
Yeah. So like if I'm at a restaurant and I have a menu, I have to read the whole menu. And I know what I wanted last time. I know what was good. I know what I wanted last time I went through this whole menu. I've done it 100 times in a row. The same menu. I have to go through the whole menu and look for possibly something new, but I know what I wanted last time, and I'm looking for maybe something that might be better, that I should go for that. And I'm comparing it to my original choice, and I just always end up back on my original choice. It's the same thing every time. Like if you're talking about music, is really easy. Like, okay, so I have issues with music in the sense that I am a musician. I teach piano, but music itself is annoying to me. The word music actually, you know, some people don't like certain words, like like moist. The word music does that to my brain. Like the word music is annoying to me, and in a scratchy kind of way. Like I don't know, it's weird.
Is it because maybe you feel like the concept of music shouldn't be defined by a word?
I think I just don't like the word. I just don't like that word. Yeah, like I mean, what's the word for music in French? I don't even remember. I like here's sign language for music, right? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the vowel and consonant sounds that come out of the English word music that and they scratch on my brain. But anyway, music itself, like actual songs, there are very specific songs that I love and always have. Fur Elise, fell in love with it day one. Had to have it, had to learn it, learned it, and I've known it for what, 20 years and never forgot it. This is one of those things that I locked in somehow and never let go, and I can play the whole song at any time. But it's like that, I did that way early on, but all of these other songs were just annoying. Like they're just noise. They're noise, and they make no sense to me. If they don't have a message to me personally, I almost hate them. And when you're talking about popular music, there's a whole lot of popular music that I just do not like. Anyway, so I don't know that that's.
Is it because it's not, you feel it's not valuable to you, or it doesn't matter?
No, it's because that music has to. Trying to give this reason here. It's because that music has to give me. It has to have context. If it means something to me, or if I love it for any stupid reason, then I love that song. But there are so few.
Do you need a reason to love something?
No, Absolutely not.
No.
We were at the Renaissance Festival a couple years ago, and I walked up to this vendor, and he had a bunch of trees that had been carved, pulled out by the root and turned upside down, and the root side had been carved into faces. And I fell in love with one of those faces for no reason, and we had to spend $200 to buy that stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a 30-something-year-old, I need that stick.
Is part of your sleep process going into the why you like things?
No, it's going
No.
into how. It's going into how does this work?
How does this work?
Yeah. Like,
Uh-huh.
how do I make this better? Or how do I do this better? Like, what can I do to practice this? Or how do what am I doing wrong that I could tweak my practice style? Or when I'm working on this OPS thing, I'm actually in the stage of absorption still, but past the absorption stage of just learning the data, the basic data, then there's the practice stage and the actual development of the skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in absorption phase, so it doesn't really count. But when I'm in the practice stage of I already understand how this works, now I'm just working on it. That's my piano world, and that I still even there, I'm going to my teacher every week and being like, I don't get this. What's wrong here? This isn't working, kind of thing.
It's not working. Yeah. So like you did sort of, I don't know if it's peacock and consume, but you did sort of say I was doing this, I was doing like all the stuff you were getting into with personality, all of the learning, that sort of thing. Um, do you see consume as a demon?
I self-typed before Dave and Chan. I self-type as consume second.
Wow. Okay.
Sleep, consume. I thought that I was info dominant with consume at the top, and it
Mm-hmm.
was blatantly obvious to me because of how much fantasy I read.
I see.
Or used to read. I don't actually anymore, but in the past I've read just tons of series after series after series after series, and some of them multiple times. But since I got typed, it's become very clear to me the low consume, because when I read something, my wife makes fun of me. When I read a book, I immediately forget what happened in the book, and I can go reread that book without knowing what's going to happen. So,
Wow.
yeah, and it doesn't happen if I loved the book and was actually really consuming it. Like if I pull in what actually happened, and I'm like with Brandon Sanderson, he's my favorite author, but not because he's the best writer, like not by far.
Yeah, I see that. I see that
Yeah,
problem. Yeah, I see that problem because like you have to be responsible for the what in order to remember something, and it's just not what you do. You're always looking at the why and the reasons behind it, and that's
yeah,
fleeting. It's feminine. It
yeah.
won't stay. It'll just disappear. But when you
Wow.
actually start going into the what and like the details, then that's where your memory will sort of flourish. And
Sure.
that's exactly what you just said. Like I have to go into the what in order to remember
Yeah.
it.
Once
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'll lock onto something, and once I'm really into it, then I have to do the work to make it solid. Yeah, but
Yeah.
once I've made it solid, it can stay. Like Fur Elise is not going anywhere. I made that solid, and it took work. Like practice for me is a system I learned from Bible quizzing, where we memorized like 500 verses, and we had cross-reference questions on them, and quote these random verse, and it was a race with 6 people, 3 on each team, and we quiz against each other. And you had to race to the buzzard first, so it was physical. I loved that.
Mhm.
Then you also had 30 seconds to complete the question that you just interrupted, and then answer that question. The study process of memorization was to read it 5 times, and then say it without reading 5 times, and then read it 5 times, and say it without reading and do that three sets of read and say, read and say, read and say.
Right.
And I translated that to piano out of necessity. I just nothing sticks unless I beat the shit out of it and make it stick. And
Mhm.
and it won't. I'm not going to if I don't want it. Like I don't care about that. I'm not gonna
Right.
go.
So I was getting when you were describing the Bible quiz or whatever that is you were really solid on the facts and on
Yeah.
the experience of it. Like you had to be physical, you had to run to it. Like you were really describing it in a very like as if you remember it, like as if you've
Oh yeah.
experienced it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like so it seems like you do remember experiences
Yeah. Maybe
and
that's it.
timelines.
I do
Right.
have a timeline. It's weird because there's not a lot between each point in time. I have okay. So I have graduating high school, starting college, graduating college, my first marriage, my first divorce, 2 years of not being married, then my second marriage, my first kid, my second kid, and that brings me to today. That's my plot points. I've got no more than that.
Yeah,
If I've got to
but
find
it's like a
something,
list. It's a
yeah,
list of plot points, and so
an SI
like,
list, yeah.
yeah,
But it's weird because there's nothing between them. I have to go to that plot point and live in between those plot points and really pull something out, or it's black. There's nothingness in between those plot points.
uh-huh.
It's very, but it is there. I just have to go there and make it resolve itself.
Like do the NI work and sort of figure out what would have
Yeah,
been, what probably was between those plot points, sort of thing.
yeah, and I'll also go ask friends. Like that's actually a
Uh,
big deal.
Uh-huh.
If I don't know the answer, I text my buddies who were there, and often they'll know. And Jen has been helpful. My wife has been super helpful. Like I said, she's got her SI. Whether it's demon or not, that thing works. So I use her. As what I was telling Kendrick, I use her as my totem. Where if I get information that I don't want to lose, I just hit her with it, and then she can pull up. I can ask her anything, and she's masculine sensory too. She can pull up the year, the month, the time, the people around. Like,
See, the thing is, you can too. Like just now, you said I was asking Kendrick like a fact, like, and it was
yeah.
solid, it was masculine, and you knew it happened.
It's
And
just
it's
that
like,
hers is so much more precise than mine. Like she just like bam and fast. She's way faster than me. When I ask her when this happened, she has all of the time related details.
mhm.
But anyway, I don't know. I forgot what we're even talking about. So
We're just flowing on the tangent
yeah,
here.
but
It's
now.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, we were trying to talk about your consume, how like it's put as a demon, but it's you like how much of your day do you consume then?
Well, again, so when I'm in my NI world, it depends on what stage I'm in. And in the last few months, I've been consuming, right? I've been watching every goddamn YouTube video I can find on
Like
OPS.
what portion of your day is that?
The whole freaking day, right?
The
Okay,
whole
so I
freaking
say
day.
that it's every available minute. It's not the whole day. I do have two kids. I do have a job, but my job is from 3:30 to 7:30. But also when my wife gets home, I've learned. I've had a divorce. My wife is more important than this NI world. I had to learn that shit. I lost a marriage to that, among other things, but it was definitely a piece of it. And so I will drop my NI world and go do whatever to bond with my wife while she's here and available. I mean, she might argue with that, but but
Yeah.
whenever I've got the house to myself, I'm 100% of that time is immersed in the NI world, either in the study aspect of it or in the practice aspect of it. So I am supposedly moving from the absorb into the practice stage right now. I have, of course, been practicing with the classes, but and failing miserably. But it's the whole thing where you really need to just go in and learn what SI is for yourself. I haven't really done that yet. I mean, and that's the next stage.
Mhm.
Of I've finished watching all the YouTube. Now it's time to go learn. But anyway, where were we? We were on
We were
consume
sort of
live.
dealing with the consume,
Yeah.
like how much of your day
Is
are you actually
consumed, right?
consuming? Yeah.
So whenever I move past the consume stage, I won't be consuming at all. I'm not going to be reading. I'm not going to be watching YouTube, other than to type that person, which I suppose you do
Mhm.
have to consume to do that. But it's more of the practice that I'm focusing on than the consume side, where I'm trying to solidify this detail of what what are the rules of this 512 system. I suppose now I'll be trying to solidify I suppose it is. I'll be trying to solidify the details of what SI is, right? Yeah. So anyway, consume is weird.
Detail,
I
solidify
love
the
it.
details. Yeah, I'm just trying to look at your language here. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
No, because you're giving a lot away about your cognitive functions with your language, like
Yeah.
naturally. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Like you're
Yeah. I'm an
talking about
open
the
book.
what here. Yeah.
I'm an open book. I'm trying to be as honest as possible with every answer I give, and
Right.
exactly what I feel and what I do. With the consume, like I said, I thought I was consume savior. I do read a lot. I still read. I just audiobook read. I don't remember what the name of the book was. I just read, but I just read it, and it was like 40 hours worth of listening. I'm still consuming. I consume constantly, but none of it's sticking unless I'm making it stick.
Yeah. Okay. So like, so maybe you're not feeling completely responsible to do the consume properly.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Especially with reading fantasy, because that's not really
Right.
important. I don't really need to remember that storyline. Who cares? Nobody's gonna care. Plus, if I forget it, I get to go re-enjoy it. Like that's a
It's a
tangible
bonus.
enjoyment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
That
interesting. All right.
like I read Wheel of Time the entire series 5 times, and it was a re-experience each time, of getting familiar with each of the characters. Some of it does stick, but very little, very very
Right.
little.
Uh-huh.
Also, a lot of my friends from college are very into Wheel of Time, and we even have a chat room open right now that's specifically for Wheel of Time, because they're making a movie on it, or a series. I forget the series, and so we're chatting about it right now. But it's I use them as my totem. Like I'll just ask, "Hey, what happened in this book? I don't remember," and they'll just tell me, or I'll
Is
go
is
Google it. Yeah,
is this totem thing like a slang? It's a colloquial thing
this
that
is
people
this is
use?
a C.S. Joseph word. Yes, C.S.
Oh,
Joseph.
okay. All right.
Uh, Anyone with SE will mark an SI totem to remember the details in the CS Joseph world.
And you do this?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
100%. If I don't have SI, I'm writing it on my phone in a note if it's important.
Because SI users also write things down.
Yes, they do, but they don't
Yeah.
have to, or at least the ones that I don't. The ones that I know, Jen takes pride. But when I met her, she took pride in not making grocery lists. She bragged about it. She was
Right.
probably peacocking something there, but
Well, I
she
also take pride
didn't.
in not making grocery
Yeah.
lists, but
So like I come in with all of my list, and she's like, "What are you doing?" No, I don't need that. Get out of here
uh-huh.
with that. So I can just tell her things, and I have faith that she's going to remember them. And so I can then allow myself to move on to the next idea. I have that running sink with no stopper going, where the information's flowing, but it's going right out the bottom. And if I want it to stay, I've got to grab it while it's there and give it to somebody or write it down.
What about the chaos? Is that something that destabilizes you? Is that something that freaks you out a little bit?
Okay. Um, yeah. So I'm in my NI world all day for a week, and didn't do. This is me when I'm younger. This is not me today. I didn't do the dishes. I didn't do the laundry. I didn't sweep a floor. I didn't clean up after the dog. I didn't do any of the sensory. I was in my NI head thinking about the thing, and then I had to go to work. And on my way out the door, I noticed, oh crap, I didn't do that thing. But oh well, and I'm off. And then I come back, and years down the road with that scenario, that trailer fell apart. There's holes in the walls. Like dishes are not a thing.
Hmm.
And
No, because like
but that
that's
chaos
something that
was
I've seen
stopping me from.
ENFPs.
But
ENFPs
that's
also do the same thing.
right, right,
Like they'll
right.
just
But
ignore it.
that chaos stops me from being in my NI world. At a certain stage, I can't survive the chaos that's going on around me. I'm forced to leave my world and go deal with this chaos. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But they're like collect, gather, 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 and then they don't want to organize, right? So I'm. I mean, you
Like
go ahead.
Jonathan Knott, for example, he was talking about how he wasn't paying his bills on time, and
Yeah,
they
I
would
did
just
that.
pile up, and then like he'd just have a whole bunch of fines that he'd have to pay all at
Yeah.
once or whatever because he didn't pay them on time.
Yeah, I don't do that as often, but I've done it a few times where it was big enough that it was a real problem.
Right. So that was an NE DOM ignoring the
Right,
SI.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
like that's less chaos. That's more ignoring SI control sort of
ignoring
thing.
control. SI for sure. Like I'm saying, SI eighth is a bitch.
Yeah.
Like I that's the thing.
Uh-huh.
But it could be that if you want to just go down that path of SI fourth, but then I never do the SI at all, and it doesn't balance with my NE. Uh, like, and my NE is barely pinging off my SI; it's pinging off my NI.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
No,
weird.
I'm just trying to get to the chaos, how the chaos is stabilizing you.
Okay, yeah. So, how chaos destabilizes me? Um,
Like a Windows update, or you go to a menu in a restaurant and they've changed it completely. Like, does this kind of thing freak you out, or you're okay? You just flow with it.
I usually ignore it. If I have to, if there's an update on Windows, I just hit the X and move on. And then eventually I am forced to do the update. and then it's really
See, the way you
frustrating.
said forced, like forced
Yeah,
is like they're controlling me.
yeah, maybe, but it's the like Yahoo Mail has been trying to get me to update that account for ages. It's not really that. It's that I have this IJ box. This is my Yahoo Mail. I know how this works. I don't want you to fuck with my box. If you update me, I now have to relearn my whole box. Like that's that one. Like I don't know what that says about function wise, but that is what's going on there. Like I don't want them to mess up my little box or my NI world.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I mean, what does that say? I mean, is that I don't know.
No, yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting that part too.
Yeah.
So you don't mind if someone's trying to control you. It doesn't really bother you.
I actually need them to.
You need them to.
I rely on my wife in a bad way. Like this is not healthy. She's the one making all the plans for the weekend.
Plans. Yeah.
She's making all the plans for our life. Really, she has her vision of what her life is, and I have my vision of what our life is, and we're going down this path together. Thank God we're communicating about it, and actually going down both paths together.
Right.
But she's the only one actually telling me what to do right now. So I'm up in my head, right? This is actually really cool because Shan called out this one and I 100% identified with it. Is sleep last play. I can make a plan. If I sleep up a plan, I'm sitting here figuring out what it is that I want to do. Okay, now I know what I need to do. And I did this with my piano
I want
business
to do.
by myself. I myself figured out, hey, I really need to do this piano business thing. This is what's going to happen. Then I had to figure out how to execute before I did anything. I planned out the entire, okay, this is how I'm going to make this business work. And then once I've got that plan, it's blast play time. And it is so much just putting out the energy, doing the thing, getting it started, getting it running, doing everything I need to do, and happily spending the energy to get this thing done. So in present day, that comes down to my wife has made these plans for the weekend. That means we have to do these things on Friday, these things on Saturday. Since we know how I work now, we have that written down in this list form of this is what we need to do. And when I have that list, I will blast play the shit out of that list and have fun doing it. Like when I'm executing a plan, I'm having the time of my life. It's what it's
Executing the
animalistically
plan.
driven. Yeah.
So that sort of contradicts what you said at the beginning, because you don't want to execute the plan you said at the beginning. Like you won't do anything to get the plan done. So how is this different here? Executing the plan.
No. Executing the plan is fantastic. Making the plan is actually tricky. Actually
I
setting up
see.
the plan. So once my mom dropped me off at college, it was clear what was happening. Then I'm executing. I'm picking a degree. I'm meeting my roommate and figuring out how we're going to interact. And then I'm taking down the layout of the whole campus because I really needed to expand my IJ box past the dorm I was dropped off at. And I had to get a feel for the whole campus around me. That was the majority of my energy right at the start, was just figuring out the campus and then figuring out the classes and then figuring out each classroom and the people that were going to be harassing me in that classroom. And once I got into this is the plan, this is what we're doing, and I'm on board with it. If I'm FI on board with it, then we're gonna freaking do this plan.
Right.
So
I see.
the execution is actually thoroughly enjoyable, but I do have to be on board with it. This has to be something I want to do, or I may not want to execute that plan.
So I'm okay.
I'm giving you counter stuff.
No. I was also answering someone in the chat here. They're asking what your
Okay.
take was. They're coming a bit late. So energy dominant, I saw there. Just like one little blip on it, on how you were saying most of your energy is going to be dedicated to figuring out, like you're tracking what you're doing with your energy. My energy is figuring out what I'm going to do on campus, who's going to be bothering me.
Okay.
Right.
I'm
is
actually really glad I'm really glad you said that, because I've been looking for my energy dominant. I haven't been able to find it yet.
Right.
I haven't been able to figure that one out. So you're saying,
I don't know. It's just one data point where you're talking about your energy just now. Yeah.
It's an anecdote. Yeah.
Well,
maybe
if it keeps happening over time, this sort of thing, then that's where your energy dominance is.
So, but I'm sorry, re-explain it to me. How was that a ping on energy dominance?
So you were talking about this is where most of my energy is going to be spent.
Okay.
As if you know and you keep track of where your energy is spent.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. Yeah, so when I wake up in the morning, my first priority every day is how long can I stay in this bed? But you know, if I have this plan in place, so to speak, and I need to blast play it, I'm immediately out of bed and playing. And I can play right away. But it doesn't happen if there's no plan. If I don't have to do anything right now, I'm not moving. And I'll move very slowly all day long. I won't do anything. I'll be on the couch doing nothing.
Without
And
a
then
plan.
I'll,
Not
and
doing
then,
nothing though, planning probably, no? Or
well,
doing
in my
something.
head, and tinkering with an NI world is not really
Right.
planning.
But it's
So
not doing nothing.
yeah, I'm in my head, yeah, for sure. Or consuming, like I may be trying to figure something new out, but it's for the most part, it's just, or you know, maybe I'm being extra lazy. Maybe I'm just watching movies, which really
Okay.
for me, that's the extra lazy side of it. I rarely watch movies anymore. I'm usually working on something in my head,
Yeah.
or practicing the piano itself, right? Which for me is another.
I just noticed from your language, like just before how you said you will do the play, but you need the plan first.
Oh
You,
God, yes, yes,
right.
yes, 100%.
And that's what will free you up to do the play. And it sounds like you're really enjoying it. Like it is a hobby. It is something that you get a lot
Yeah,
of enjoyment out of when you're
yeah.
able to do that play, but you can't do it until you've got the plan.
Yeah, and it's double masculine play, right? Like this is playing with force. Like I'm
Right.
actually I'm out like the taekwondo thing. It's very enjoyable to be kicking the shit out of somebody. You know,
Okay.
uh, it's or on the piano. It's a lot of my piano where I'm enjoying it, where I'm just relaxing on the piano. That's improvisation for me, and a lot of that improvisation goes double forte. Like we're gonna fortissimo this thing, and I'm putting some power. I'm injuring fingers, uh, double masculine playing, putting out energy on the piano, or you know, just anything that I'm doing.
Right.
Um, Juggling for sure, juggling heavy things, just juggling with the precision of where the thing is going through space, and just working on a new trick I haven't done in a long time. But
Uh-huh.
just juggling, just expending that energy. If when I'm doing those things, yeah, it's a fantastic feeling. The only one that really sucks is working out.
Yeah.
uh,
Cool, man. Do you have anything you want to promote or any message you want to give about your type
um,
and or?
I do kind of, I suppose. I hear you ask this to everybody, and everyone's like, I don't know, but I don't have anything to promote. I mean, I'm a piano teacher, and it only works for local people. But it's the the world that I appear to be in. It's like these saviors. Both of these saviors are internal, and they're both feminine. And I'm agreeing with David Chan's type. I mean, I haven't heard that you've disagreed, but you may very
No, I
well.
haven't. I haven't disagreed. I was
Okay.
just, making sure.
Um, but then these double masculine demons, the TE in particular is the second function with masculine. Um, it's big, and I feel like super double decidery. I've always been. I will do everything possible to mediate with my parents and my cousins and conflicts that are going on. All of my energy is going into making sure these people. This is like an FE
Again,
side.
energy.
Yeah, but it's yeah, thank you. It's anyway. The point is, I've got this super double decider thing going on, which hasn't actually caused problems because it's overinflated double deciding, and pushy with the TE. I'm up in there
Right.
saying, you are not double deciding. This is wrong, and I'm going to fight you on it. And it's that big demon TE, so it comes out like mean, and
Uh-huh.
it's trouble. But anyway, the everything in here is like balanced. Like I was trying to tell somebody this earlier. I have no function that isn't held back and none that's held pushed forward. Like they're all in the middle. Like everything, like the big my big NI is feminine and countered with the masculine NSC demon, and like everything is and my saviors are both feminine pulled back with the feminine, and my demons are pushed up with the masculine, and everything is just I can't it's really hard to push outside of this medium level of everything is what I'm feeling. And it seems to be in my animals too, where everything just balances somehow.
Mhm.
I have, there is I do have these super swings.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about Hulk syndrome and
Yeah,
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of thing.
but they're so rare.
They're
And
rare.
a lot of that comes from, I suppose, the double deciding. Like I can see it in myself. Like I can see the Hulk. When it does come out, it was highly provoked, or it was it's a red. It could be a red button that they just didn't know that I had that they went for.
Mm-hmm.
I made a list. I have a list of all the super demon swings that I've had my whole life, and there's only like 4 of the big ones that are really big, and 2 of them are speeding tickets.
Uh-huh.
I had mental breakdowns on speeding tickets.
That's crazy that you made a list about all that. Like you did the SI.
Well, no. This is actually part of my research. This is actually NI. This was me getting into OPS and them saying, you're going to have these demon swings if you go in your past. I'm digging hard into my past to find them, and then I'm writing them down so I don't forget them.
Uh-huh.
And I'm asking mom, and I'm digging. Like I pulled this out specifically for OPS study.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So that list, the only list that I do day to day is going to be grocery lists. Pretty much that. Well, in piano teaching, there's more in there too. I do have to list out because there's 40 students, and I need to know who's playing what in the recital. And I've got these lists out to make sure the business runs and doesn't falter. Like SE is a big part of business, and I was forced to do my business SE or lose my business. Right.
Right. Yeah.
That became a large part of my SE exercise.
I'm wondering, like a lot of the times where I started on a direction where I was going to go, you like put a halt to it right away. I wonder if like I wonder if like you see if that's sort of like your feminine planning, like you see where things are about to go, where like, do you get what I'm saying? You see the general direction that things could develop and like in the moment, like do you see the results of your actions maybe?
Okay, I'm not seeing how that's feminine though. I'm using my
You're not feminine, but I mean, like, do you see the results of your actions and you sort of make choices based on how things will turn out?
Oh, hi Joey.
Hi Joey.
This is my kid. Come on, Bev. I'm almost done. I'll be right there. Okay. I apologize. Can you explain that one more time? We were talking about.
Yeah, I was wondering if like, do you see the results of your actions before you do them or as you're doing them, and sort of that sort of mediates how you're going to react and act in the moment, like what's going to happen based on what you do?
And you're referring to the times where I put a halt to where you were trying to drive things?
No, that's just like what I was noticing. So I'm asking this question, like, because I've seen that pattern, and I'm trying to see if this pattern is this idea that you know what's going to happen from your actions, or you know what's going to happen based on someone else's actions. Oh, if you keep doing that this is going to happen with you, sort of thing.
Kind of, but the only place I can really see that is piano students. So I've had probably 1,000 piano students, right? And it's a new one will come in and they'll be acting a certain way, and I have seen that before, and I may have a plan for how to deal with that to avoid a specific problem. But I don't know. I mean, everybody's different, right? So I'm usually in the moment with every individual student.
Everybody's
and taking
different.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of in the moment with that. Like if I'm teaching, I'm blasting, but I also have to consume. Like I have to listen to them play and actually have to come up with my blast and figure out exactly. And there's this really like there's this stereotypic piano teacher who just blasts at their student all the time and doesn't really understand their student kind of thing. It's not a good stereotype for some, but it's specific piano teachers that do it. But it's I'm sitting up there and I'm really trying hard to consume what I'm hearing in their playing and their attitude and how they're respecting me as a teacher. And some of them are, really flowy with it and they just do whatever I want. And some are super masculine with it. And it's just, I do have to address the double masculine student in a way that's appropriate, like not, I can't teach the double feminine the same way I teach the double masculine, and I have to be prepared for that. A lot of this is, I mean, I don't know if you can see the demon state coming out right here, but it was this was hard. Like actually learning how to teach was a very long process for me, and I'm still, of course, still learning.
So
that's the only place where I can see that I'm changing the future path, where I can see this path that this kid's going on. I'm going to lose this student if I don't head this off.
Right. Okay. That's a good answer. We got someone here who disagrees. I think it's FI. So Benjamin, he is ENFP. He's long-winded, informative movement. He places heaviness into his identity. He knows he has NI, though he does not have it.
I agree with the movement, man. I do move, but when I'm in my NI world, I'm sitting on the couch, so maybe not. But with my blasting, for God's sake, yeah, that's movement. And informative for sure. What was the other one? It's off the screen already. But anyway, no, I typed long-winded. Identity for sure. Oh, he does not have. Oh, okay. There you go. Maybe I don't. What do I know?
What do we know?
I mean, with Shan, Shan said NI was the last thing she saw. Like, she didn't have it. Dave said he saw it pretty quick, but Dave is NI, so he's biased.
Right.
So we've got, but he's also, I mean, he's the one that's been doing this for 13 years. He's seen a lot of NIs. So I don't know. But I do have issues seeing my NI, but I'm supposed to. It's like the big one I do unconsciously, right? I don't know.
Well, anyway, it does make sense. Like I wouldn't object to it. Like if someone could tell me another type for you, and I could also maybe see it.
Yeah,
but like,
it's tricky. It's almost a matter of elimination at this point, because it's not it's not NE. I mean, it's not FE. It's not.
Like I wouldn't have a heavy objection to it, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, FE actually did feel my FE. I use my FE a lot because my wife is FE, and I've learned what it is. But to be honest, whenever I met her, it was super shocking. I had none of my friends were FE coming into this. None of my family is FE at all. I'm not we were pretty much all IJs that I can tell, and then I had one IP. My brother is FI, so as far as I can tell, he's an INFP.
See, like this sort of broadening the subject that you're doing now, that's like really NE. That's like, okay, let's just talk about this and this and this, and it's not really correlated. We're not bringing it down to a point.
This is actually fun. Me and Liam are twin types, right? Leon, and we met last Saturday along with the C.
Yeah, he was saying,
and it was fascinating because we're three guys talking at the table, and either me or Leon would interrupt whoever was talking to talk to the other guy and say something that we had just either observed about what that person was saying, or like we were just interrupting everybody, talking back and forth, and we completely lost whatever the previous topic was and moved into a new one. And then we'd interrupt that one. And it was just constant ping, ping, ping to topic. But to be honest, in my head, it all feels encompassed, because whenever I ping off a topic and go to another one, it's a deeper detail in that same topic. Like, it's a supporting detail.
But that's how NE works too. Okay, anyways.
So like the SI Foundation, right? But it's in concept form. So I have, like, I'm trying to say something, and I can't say it to you unless I go here first, and I have to explain this to you because it builds up to this point right here.
I get that.
So that's all, to me, that's all in my IJ box, and I've thought it through already because I sat and did nothing but think on it. Yeah. So I don't know. It could be any, like, I have a really hard time understanding NE. I have a really hard time understanding TE. And I also have a hard time telling N and T apart, because when I'm NIing, I feel like I'm thinking a lot. So, and I probably am.
Yeah, no, that I see that a lot too, that people conflate, or not even conflate, but the word thinking can relate to intuition as well.
Yeah.
People who are using a lot of NE, they call it thinking, or people who are using a lot of NI, they call it thinking.
Yeah. There's Joey again.
Hey, Joey.
All right, Bill. That's enough.
Anyways, great meeting you.
You too. This was fun.
Thanks a lot for coming out. Yeah,
good times.
Keep in touch and stuff. Have a good
one.
All
right, we'll do. Yeah, I'll talk to you later, man. Bye.